Hey there, you're listening to Not Another TV Podcast. This is episode 96, the week of October 19th, 2025. My name's Drew Koenig. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mads Sassy. Mads, how we doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay.
We are back.
We are.
With a vengeance.
I'm still stuck in Kansas. But we're back.
I won't say that's unfortunate, but it is how I feel.
Oh, it's very unfortunate. I'm surrounded by Trump flags. But I am shocked to find out that 300 people in my mom's town showed up for a No Kings protest yesterday. So,
well, that's good.
It's more than I thought. So, hey.
Yeah, I believe there was one here in Cincinnati and one in my hometown as well. So, it's very neat, for lack of a better word.
And John Bon Jovi showed up to one in my state of New Jersey. So, there's that.
That's great.
I don't know. I just saw a million tweets about it today. Like, for some reason, like, it seemed like every other tweet on my timeline today was something about John Bon Jovi being at a No Kings protest in New Jersey. And I'm like, he lives there. Are we shocked by this? Like, I'm confused.
But yeah, we had a nice 3 weeks off. Unexpectedly, kind of. But one of those weeks I was on vacation, so
yeah.
Very weirdly relaxing, and also kind of I feel like my TV watching goes kind of haywire when we're not doing this podcast every week. My brain just goes, oh, what to watch, whatever the fuck I want, let's go. Yeah, no, I was telling somebody in my D&D group the other day, like, whenever fall TV rolls around, I kind of go out of my mind, like, almost as, like, traumatic flashbacks of, like, I remember, even if this year isn't that bad, I remember previous years.
Just remember the height of the CW, like,
right,
it was insane.
Yeah, like, especially, like, mid to late 2010s, where it was crazy. You just, like, it felt like you were just walking along the street and someone would pop out and go, hey, you want to watch a TV show? And you're like, no, I don't want to watch. Go away. Leave me alone.
Well, it's funny. So someone posted a list on Twitter of shows that have started and ended in the time that it's taken Stranger Things to start and end. And it's shocking how long that list is, but then you think about it, it's really not that shocking. And then someone had quote tweeted it and goes, what do you mean since season 2 of Stranger Things, 911 has put out 8 and a couple episodes of his 9th season? Like, what? And it's like, it really puts into perspective how long it is taking Stranger Things to come to completion. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's another one of those, like, don't even get me started.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah, speaking of which, that takes us into our news real quick, which our first item that I think we kind of have to talk about here. Yellowjackets is ending with its upcoming 4th season, whenever that 4th season comes out, probably in 27. And I do want to say, obviously, it's very, bittersweet for Yellowjackets to officially be ending. The amount of people that I've seen saying that it has been canceled is galling, and is not at all what's happening. I just want to make that really clear. Yellowjackets wasn't canceled. Yeah, they had an original 5-season plan. Just because you're not adhering to that plan doesn't mean that something has gone wrong. Like, this is just...
and that 5-season plan was hinged on Juliette Lewis wanting to stay with it.
Right, yes.
Like, her leaving kind of changed their original plan for the show. So, like, of course, that timeline's going to shift as well.
Right, and there's so many things that happen with TV. TV is
Hmm.
a moving animal that you have to adjust for and compensate. You know, it is fully, it's a spinning wheel, and you just kind of make do. Um, the idea, like, people are so obsessed with this idea of like shows having a plan and shows having like feeling like shows know what they're doing at all times, and that's just not how you make TV.
Nope.
I don't think people realize how much of TV is improvisational. And so, yeah, they
Hmm.
had a 5 season plan. You do what works.
Right. Well, and also, like, you think about it, there's quite a few actors that have come out, and said after a show ends, like, oh, yeah, I improved X, Y, and Z moments in this show. I just, like, did it. And the director and the writer were like, absolutely, that sounds fantastic. Better than what's on the paper. Let's go with it. Like, things change.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, would I love to have 5 seasons of Yellowjackets? Sure. Um, that's not in the cards, though. And I mean, I feel like I said this after we wrapped up the last season, with season 3. It kind of felt like a penultimate season to me.
Hmm.
It felt like it was gearing up for a final season.
It feels like there's only so much left that they can tell
Yeah,
because we've covered so much.
I have no gripes about this. I mean, I'm sure it's partly the writing. I'm sure it's partly the writing, and partly a lot of these girls are blowing up. Like Sophie Thatcher is becoming a big name. Courtney Eaton is becoming
Hmm.
a bigger name. Ella Purnell still likes to show up, but she is as big of a name as you can get at this point.
Yeah.
Even though I do hope that she shows up just so many times to haunt the show in this last season.
And to that also, do I want a show to have 5 seasons? Yes, but only if the writing is good for it to have 5 seasons.
Right.
Because I don't want us to have 5 seasons just to say we had 5 seasons and let the last season be trash, because that totally undoes everything this show has done.
Yeah. So while I'm sad to see it go, 4 seasons feels right, honestly.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know if anyone has gone back and read like the original plan for Yellowjackets. A lot of it's not great. A lot of it's kind of a mess in certain ways,
Hmm.
and the adjustments that they made since then have kind of been for the better. So going from like a 5 season plan to a 4 season plan I'm completely fine with that. Rest in peace of Yellowjackets. I'm gonna be really interested to see like what a lot of those, especially the teen actors, do after this. Because again, Sophie
Hmm.
Thatcher's, Courtney Eaton are kind of names on the rise. Uh, you know, Liv Houston and Sophie Nilly, so a lesser extent, but still with some cred going forward. So I'm very intrigued with what they'll do in a post
And
Yellowjacket world.
Melanie Linsky, whatever you do next, I will be watching. I don't care what it is.
So yeah.
I will watch it. I watch your husband every week. I might as well watch you too. No, but no, she's just so good. And I've seen her in stuff before, but like I feel like Yellowjackets like really solidified for me that Melanie Linsky is so underappreciated. So underappreciated. And now people are starting to catch up and they're like, oh, she's actually fantastic. And I'm like, yes, she actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. In other news, for some more cancellations, which I'm more favorable on, Countdown and Butterfly are canceled at Amazon Prime Video after 1 season
mhm.
each. Listen, I've talked about Countdown a lot on the show. I'm not sad about this.
I also think yeah, maybe there was places for this show to continue, but you have to think of the Eric Dane of it all.
Right.
Um, and he's not doing well. So it's like probably best to cancel this show.
Mm-hmm. Also, in the cancellation fronts, Netflix canceled The Ultimatum Queer Love,
And
which,
they can go rotten hell.
listen, we've talked about The Ultimatum Queer Love quite a bit on this podcast. It is a nightmarish disaster that actively makes the world a worse place. But
But we love it.
yeah, but we love it, and I'm only okay with queer love not existing if if the ultimatum original recipe also doesn't exist. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
like the problem isn't the queer love part of this; it's the format of
The ultimatum.
damaged couples coming on, international TV and embarrassing themselves.
I when we were talking about season 2 and I was like watching it, like Karen caught some moments with me and she's just like, wait, so they willingly went on this show knowing that they were going to be handed an ultimatum, and then they get mad when their partners switch partners and like have relations with someone else. I'm like, oh yeah, it's messy. And she's like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I go, yes, but I love it.
Yeah, like the whole situation is a nightmare, and I want to be really clear about my position on that.
Absolutely.
But if the original one exists, I think this should also exist.
Right. You got to equal opportunity.
Right. So I don't like that this only got canceled. I think that is bad.
Not a good look, Netflix.
Yeah, it's not great. Not great at all. In other news, Ballard was renewed for a second season, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a season I think we both enjoyed quite a bit. I mean, Maggie Q should continue to get all the work in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of that, did you see the report of a Bosch prequel starring Cameron Monaghan?
No.
I don't know if I
How did
made
I
this.
miss this?
I don't know if I made this up or if it was just a rumor,
Wait,
but
I'm gonna Google it.
it feels like something that Amazon would do.
No, it actually is real. The Bosch prequel series is titled Bosch Start of Watch, starring Cameron Monaghan as 26-year-old rookie
Okay,
Harry Bosch and Amari Hardwick as his veteran training officer Eli Bridges. Set in 91 Los Angeles, the show will explore his early days as a police officer and be available on MGM Plus. Production is expected to begin in 2026. It's a real thing.
it's a real thing.
Listen, as someone who shamelessly watched Shameless for the entirety of its run, I can tell you Cameron Monaghan is a phenomenal actor. Like he's really good. And I feel like a lot of people don't give him enough credit because they're like, "Oh, well, you're just a pretty boy that played a gay character and that's why everybody loves you." No, like he was amazing on Gotham too. Like he was fucking brilliant. So he has the skills to do it. I'm just curious to see if he can handle the Bosch demeanor because
Yeah,
that might be a bit of a stretch, but we'll see. We'll see.
yeah.
I'll give him a chance.
He was good in the Star Wars games too.
Yes. He also terrified the bejesus out of me as a small child when he did an episode of Criminal Minds. He was like 10 and he played this kid that convinced kids to go with him and then he killed them. He was creepy. Anyways.
Rough. And then for our last piece of news here, which is really kind of the big showstopper, David Del Rio, who's one of the main actors on Matlock, exited the show following a investigation into an sexual assault allegation made by Leah Lewis, which we're still hearing the details of, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But it sounds really, really bad. And I would say the speed at which he has been fired is shocking considering this is CBS, the same network that still employs Michael Weatherly.
That's what I was going to point out. Like I see the comment sections and a lot of people are like, "Well, if he wasn't arrested, it didn't happen." I'm like, "Okay, tell me you don't know anything about the justice system without telling me." Um but also like you guys don't seem to realize like how bad it had to be if CBS immediately fired him and had him escorted off the premises, because Michael Weatherly has so many allegations against him and he is still employed.
Yeah, so whatever happened was really bad. And it sounds like he filmed the first half of season 2.
That's what it sounds like, because I think they said that they were about halfway through filming.
Yeah. These are going to be some weird reviews. I'm just going to kind of say that up front because try to navigate that in our discussions of of Matlock.
Well, and I'm covering Matlock for Telltale, and so like my reviews, I've like really had to like I know that my vision of him has affected how I react to the moments with Billy in the show now. Like I
Yeah.
just automatically am just like I don't like this character anymore, and it's just like, oh, but you need to like be neutral. But no, I just don't like. He's just annoying at this point. Like just. But I also feel like maybe the editing cut back on what he probably had so that they could easily get rid of him and like slowly like filter him out.
Probably.
Because they really cut back on Billy and Sarah in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of weird. We'll see. We'll do our best to be aware of that in our reviews.
Yeah, everyone prepare for Billy to like die in a fire halfway through the show, halfway through the season.
or they for some reason somehow pin all this scandal on him and he gets thrown in jail. Like those are the 2 things that I'm thinking of. Like that's literally what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because somehow they have to like Poochie died on the way back to his home planet, David Del Rio. Yeah.
And just the number of comments from women especially that are just like, she's just making up shit because the last interview they did, she talked about how she's really close with him and his wife and his kids, and I'm just like, that don't mean shit, girl. Like we don't know what happened. We don't know what's real because even interviews on television are not 100% real or accurate. It's just for sound bites. Like
Even at that, like most sexual assaults by men are perpetrated
people you're
by men
familiar
that
with.
women know and are friends with.
Yep.
So that accounts for nothing.
But I stand with Leah Lewis, and that's where I'll leave it.
Yeah, 100%. Mads, briefly here, because we do have a pretty full show, but briefly, let's check in on our New Year's resolutions. How are we doing?
Well, X-Files is still sitting where I left it. So not out of any bad thing. It's just I've only had time to sit through one season, and anytime I'm like have the time to pick up something new or whatever, my brain ends up saying, "Why don't we watch this instead?" And I watch something that's not the X-Files. But am thoroughly enjoying it, and I'm really going to dig in deep in November to try and at least get through another season or 2. Like I'm really gonna try to watch at least 1 or 2 episodes a day just to kind of pick up the pace a little bit so I can say I at least watched a percentage of the show.
I just love the sheer confidence with which you began.
hey, it ain't over till it's over. So we'll see where I'm at come December.
Yes, yeah. As for me, I've been watching. I think I finished Justice League the animated series, which is still one of the best animated series that's possibly ever come out, and is definitely. I mean, I don't want to say 100%, but is a large reason why people care at all about the DC universe.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can say that with pretty good confidence. Like it's the reason why, at the very least, I think it's the reason why DC doesn't have to do setup films the way that Marvel does, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
And I feel that that's entirely owed to Justice League the animated series, which is again so good. I might continue on to Justice League Unlimited if I have time, but I don't believe it's on the top 250 list, so I may not. On top of that, I am almost done with season 3 of The Expanse, and God, The Expanse is just so good, like just such a great sci-fi series, and I've kind of given up on Critical Role, like watching Critical Role in earnest. Like I'm not gonna go back.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go back to like the other campaigns to watch it, especially now that like Mighty Nine's gonna come out next month. So I
Yeah.
don't. That's a little too many convergences, you know. Um, but I did watch a bit of Campaign 4, so
Hmm.
which I don't know if you watched that or heard anything about that. It's insane. Just the
I've heard a
way,
few things. I've never watched Critical Role, so
yeah,
I've heard things, but that's it.
the way that Brennan is setting up this campaign is ambitious to the point of insanity.
As only Brennan can do.
Yeah. So Brennan is doing this. I believe it's called a Western March style of campaign. He has like 3 groups of players. So it's like one is like explorers and one is soldiers and one is like academics. I don't know if that's exactly right, but it's something like that. And he has players kind of going in and out of the table depending on the scenes that he needs. And it's something like it's an absurd amount of people, like 13 people.
Wow.
Uh, but like you have like the regular Critical Role people plus Matt Mercer, and then Abria Iyengar is there, plus some other
Hmm.
people whose stuff I'm not as familiar with, but I'm kind of vaguely cognizant of. But it's really interesting so far. It's just I it's a level of scope that I can't imagine um, working out, but I know somehow will.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I'll definitely be interested to see like where this campaign goes with it. And God, if it lasts as long as like the other campaigns have of like 3 years long, that'll be crazy. Yeah, that's all the shows that I've been watching for that. Next year I have to find a less ambitious New Year's resolution. Just something easier
I think
than this.
I think I was just now thinking, I was like, I think part of my New Year's resolution was also watch a few more reality based television, whatever. And I have done a bit of that this year.
Right.
Because Karen really dragged me into the 90 Day Fiance universe.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so I've been watching a lot of that. But yeah, I think next year I'm gonna, like, if I'm gonna pick a show to watch, I'm gonna pick one that's not as ambitious as the X Files.
Right. Good. Yep. Yep.
Has a lot of seasons.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that's partially what turns my brain off to turning it on, is like there's just so much.
Yeah. No, next year I need like before the end of the year I need to like look really carefully at all the stuff I watch and be like, where are my deficits at? You know?
Yeah,
Like what am I not
exactly.
paying attention to? What kind of show am I not watching? I try to put some of that focus into that. I keep seeing people talk a lot about like the TV coming out of Thailand.
hmm
But apparently there's a lot of good stuff.
I was gonna say K dramas and
Yeah,
like animes are like my very weak points, and so I'm like, I feel like I should watch more of those.
yeah,
So I think I might do that as a goal for next year. Like pick a couple K dramas, or just have a
mhm,
general goal of watch some K dramas.
yeah. I think this will be our last New Year's resolution check in before the end of the year,
Cool.
given how close we are to November. Let's move on into the GOAT. So the GOAT is a weekly segment we do here on the podcast where myself and Mads nominate a best TV character or episode of all time and pit them against each other on a poll online. This week, we're doing a kind of free for all, back to basics, because I could not think of a theme for this week. So we can just kind of jump into it without our regular preamble here. So I will go first here. As I mentioned earlier, I have been watching the Expanse, which is just again such a great sci-fi series, and it's both like, did you know that space actively wants to kill you, and also humanity frequently needs to put real work into not killing itself. And if you don't do any of that work, then bad things happen and bad actors filter in. But yeah, really, really tremendous series. And so I was, looking back at previous picks, I was like, all right, I did it. We've talked about my philosophy before of like, you have a character and you have an episode per show. I was like, all right, I did Avsarala earlier for a pick. And so that was my character. So here's my episode. And I was kind of going back over this, and I just watched this episode the other day, and it's kind of the episode that I most frequently go back to in my mind when I think of The Expanse, and that is not like necessarily one of the flashiest episodes of the show, but it's certainly one of the ones that like captures a certain feeling of humanity. And that is season 2, episode 12, entitled "The Monster and the Rocket," which sees the crew of the Rocinante kind of going off in different positions, in different paths. Part of the crew going off on the ship to trace a basically alien hybrid that's on the loose, and the other half of Naomi and Amos trying to help this ship take off with refugees from a failing space station. And there's this whole plot of the ship only has enough air for like 50-ish people. And everyone is banging at the door. And there's just this really nice moment of humanism when everyone realizes not everyone is going to be able to get onto this ship. And just this moment of organization and coordination of first kids and then, you know, family members, and then people are being left on the station. And Naomi trying to like do the admirable, noble thing of sacrificing her spot on the ship. Um, and this guy just like basically picking her up and throwing her on the other side, going like, "Your job isn't done yet. Like the work isn't done yet." And it's such a small thing, and it shouldn't get to you, but it's so wonderfully executed, and it's done really well, and it gets to me every time. Like just, and it's that thing of like humanity under against all odds, kind of bearing together to shoulder the burden of death and sacrifice, and all because of like, again, bad actors, bad faith people who came in and didn't care about the cost of life. And it's just so wonderfully acted with Dominic Tipper as Naomi, and that sequence like so frequently goes back into my head when I think of The Expanse, and like kind of like what I gravitate to with the show. Like, yeah,
Mm.
it's the big space battle, and there's a lot of big sci-fi concepts, but like everyone coming together and kind of working like always gets me with the show. So that is my pick. The Expanse, entitled The Monster and the Rocket.
Nice. So, in the past few weeks, I have been listening to a rewatch podcast, which I typically don't really listen to these. Mostly just because I don't have a brain that does well with podcasts. Um, I just I just really don't. I don't know what it is, but I have a hard time keeping up with them, and then I get overwhelmed, and so I just typically steer away from podcasts. But two of the actors from Degrassi: The Next Generation started a rewatch podcast, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love this show so much. I watch it all the time." And so I started to rewatch the show with them, but then got super into it that I am super way ahead of the podcast at this point. But I looked at our list of what I've nominated in the past, and I'm kind of trying to steer closer to what you do more often now. Is just like picking one character, one episode from a show, and just going with that. And I realized I never nominated a character from Degrassi. I've nominated a couple episodes for different themes, so um, I was like, it's time for me to nominate a character because this show, if anything can be called my gay awakening, it has to be this show. And the character of Paige Michaulchuk. Um, she is in the show from season 1 to, I want to say, like, comes up at the end of season 8, but like really the end of season 7 is like the end of the majority of her reign on the show. So for 7 seasons she was the it girl. She was head of the cheer squad. She was the most popular girl on campus. She dated the bad boy adjacent, more like just stoner, silly kid, that like everybody liked. And then when they broke up, everyone was just like, wait, what? You guys are supposed to be together forever. Um, but then she falls in love with a girl from the wrong side of the tracks, and she has her own bisexual awakening. And her character falling in love with Alex is one of the greatest arcs on the show because it kind of shows that sexuality is not easily described in little check boxes. Because Paige, there comes a moment in the later seasons of her run where she's talking to Marco, who is also gay, and dating her brother at the time. And Marco's like, well, what do your parents think about having 2 gay kids? She goes, oh, hun, I'm not gay. I'm just in love with Alex. Like, I still like men. So, like, it's very clear that sometimes people change what gender, quote unquote, they fall in love with based on the person. Um, and so, like, a lot of people are like, oh, Paige is a bisexual queen. And I'm like, no, she's more pansexual, with a more heterosexual leaning, but still I was obsessed with her from day one. And to this day, my friends and I, at the start of every year, we text each other, new look, new year, new look, new Paige, because that was her signature line at the beginning of each new season of school. Um, was new year, new look, new Paige. And so Paige dominated what Degrassi is and like what I remember Degrassi to be. Like she was that character that I always think of. Um, she went through a lot while in school, but always with a smile and a confident air. She never let anybody see that she was less than perfect. And, but yet on the inside, you knew she wasn't. So, that was my nomination for this week, Paige Michaulchuk from Degrassi: The Next Generation.
Nice. You can go vote for these on wherever our polls can be found. And next week, we will be doing Halloween episodes. Let's move on to the main part of our show. So, our first show for this week, as always, is Dimension 20 Fantasy High Sophomore Year, titled Spring Break I Believe in You, which is wrapping up sophomore year. with a monstrous 8-hour episode. So Mads, it's all coming together. The defeat of the Nightmare King. How we feeling?
It was not what I was expecting, but also exactly what I was expecting, if that makes any sense. In my head, I'm like, oh, yeah. I kind of know what's going to happen. I obviously know what the outcome's going to be because it's always going to be the same outcome generally. Um, but there were elements to it that I was just not expecting in the slightest.
Mm-hmm.
Like who the Nightmare King is, like that was totally something I did not have any way of predicting. I did really enjoy feeling like we were more in tune with Kristen Appleby's than we've ever been before. Like I really liked that it felt like we focused on Kristen a bit, you know?
Yeah. It's so clear what she wants out of this, you know? Or like her goals religiously, you know?
Absolutely. And I love that we get to see her kind of shift like her perspective of things based on experiences. Like we get to see a little bit of that from her perspective versus us just seeing it play out in front of us. And I liked that because I felt we hadn't really gotten to do that with this character in particular. And so it was a nice delve into her psyche, so to speak.
Yeah, going from like her dying again and having to see like having to interact with Sol and Helio and Galatea, and leave it to Allie Beardsley to come up with a perfectly cromulent but totally out there comparison. Comparing the gods to what is it? Basically Hot Topic and Box Lunch.
Yeah.
Or like
it was Hot Topic and Another Earth or something like that. Like basically she's like, you guys are selling the same stuff for different prices. like basically is what she's saying. And it's like that is such a real comparison. Like I get you. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that the difficulty of like which I felt as someone like who grew up in not like the church, but like in church, of like, cool, I've stepped away from that and I'm not non-believing, but I don't believe in the same way that I used to. What does that look like, and what way do I want that to manifest? I really felt that with Kristen in this episode, who like we've seen all season kind of grappling with like, I don't believe in, you know, Sol and Helio anymore.
But what do I believe in?
What do I believe in? And I'm into doubt, you know, and it's and I do kind of like that exploration here finally of like doubt is nothing. It's literally nothing, and that's not accurate to what Kristen believed. She was into the mystery. She was into the kind of it reminds me a lot of like the best parts of like The Leftovers, and really like the thesis of that of like just enjoy the mystery, you know? Like just be one with the unknowable realities of the universe.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's interesting for me from my perspective of I wasn't really necessarily raised in a religious home, but my grandparents were very religious. So I would go to church on the holidays, right? So I still got aspects of Roman Catholicism thrown down my throat multiple times a year, but I didn't believe any of it. So like it was very interesting to see someone go through that period of I'm growing up and making my own decisions about things and I don't know what I believe because I've never really felt that pressure, but I could see people around me have that pressure. And so like it's interesting to see it like really play out with this character that I really like and I really relate to, and just say, oh, okay, I understand what you're going through because you've let me see it from your eyes.
Yeah. As for like the Nightmare King, on a rewatch, it is so deeply obvious that the Nightmare King and the unnamed goddess are the same person.
Yeah.
Because Brennan and Allie, to a lesser extent, are putting such an emphasis on this unnamed goddess, and you're like,
Yeah.
of course they're the same person. Like, of course they're the same person. But yeah, it is funny, like just how evident that is. Even though I totally get why no one fully put those two things together. Although it is funny, you can see in real time Siobhan figuring it out. Like partway through this
Mhm.
episode, we're just being very excited, but not saying anything. This is such a long episode. It's like really, truly unbearably long, and that battle is so intense. And like Brendan says, there's definitely a world where like they don't win. You know, like it's a
Mhm.
very easy TPK. So the fact that like they do come out pretty looking pretty good at the end of it, even though
Yeah.
a bunch of them die a lot.
Oh yeah. There's Riz and nope, Galir, he died
He
again.
died again.
Like
Yep.
poor Galir. Poor Galir. But yeah, like Riz dies. Um
Gorthalax dies.
Gorzlax dies,
He's fully
yeah.
dead. Like Gorthalax is fully dead at one
Yep,
point.
fully dead. I will say I did really enjoy the way that Fig comes out, like the strong man, so to speak,
Oh yeah.
in a lot of what happens. Like Fig, like if it weren't for Fig, they would not have came out looking so pretty. Let's just say that.
For being a bard warlock, Figure of Faith is one of the most ridiculously overpowered characters I've ever seen. Like she's so powerful.
Like bow down to her power.
Totally, absolutely. But yeah, it's a really great conclusion to the season. We have to talk about the confrontation between Adine and her dad with Aelwyn.
Mm,
Yes, that's so
yes,
good. Ugh.
it's very good.
The magical punch is such a good spell. What is it?
Hmm.
Adine's Furious Fist. It's such a sick spell. Which probably wouldn't work as well if Adine was attacking anyone other than like a crunchy wizard. Little interactions that Adine has with Elwyn at in
Hmm.
the beginning part, like Elwyn explaining that
Yeah.
she knew, like how she knew that Adine would be the Elven Oracle,
Yeah.
and her like,
And
it's really good.
just to see them kind of sort of bond in a small way, like
Mm-hmm.
was so nice to see because these two sisters have been at odds with each other the whole time we've known them, right? And to see that moment where Aelwyn gets to see that Idine still sees that she has some good in her, and also Idine gets to hear why Aelwyn knew that she would be the Oracle. It's
Yeah,
like it's that moment of understanding between them that really kind of bonds them together, and I really liked seeing that because I've been on the fence on how I feel about Aelwyn, and now I'm like, nope, I know how I feel about Aelwyn. I really like Aelwyn. Aelwyn's not so bad. Sure, she's done some shitty things, but she's not an all around bad person, you know.
right. Yeah, seeing that like weird kind of faith that Elwyn had for Adine,
Hmm.
it's undoubtedly going to be Adine. But yeah, that's so spectacular. And
And also the sisters being welcomed into, is it Sandra Lynn? Is that the one's home?
oh yeah, Sandra Lynn and Jabba's.
Sandra Lynn's home. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm adopting you too. Come here. Come here. I'm like, this is beautiful. Like, they're like, she's like, you've got shitty parents. Come on, join my ragtag group of misfits.
Right, right. But which again, Sandra Lynn far more accepting of other people's children than her own children.
Than her own. We all know a mother like that, okay? We
That's
all
true.
have met a mother like that.
That's true. And kind of on that note, I like how much space. Again, this episode's so big, but and so long. But I really enjoy how much space is given after the battle to really devote to like downtime and what they're all doing post spring break, and really give that all a lot of room to breathe. The reveal that Gardy is the child of one of Ida's former selves is crushing.
It's so weird.
It's just
So weird.
every new thing that we learn about Ida just like makes it more upsetting.
Yeah.
Because then you have to think about like Gardy saw their mom die and then be reborn as someone who doesn't know them, and kind of looks up to you as a paternal figure, and it's like, oh, that's. Mm.
That's so
I didn't
sad.
need to know that. You didn't have to do that to me. I think one of the big things that kind of I don't love is Tracker and Kristen breaking up.
Yeah.
I don't love that because they felt at such,
Kristen needs love,
yeah,
guys.
like because they were at odds for so much of the season.
Yeah.
To end it with like them broken up, like kind of rubs me the wrong way. Um, Even if I
Yeah, they
understand
never really got a
Trackers,
chance. They never really got a chance to truly like talk it out and like
yeah,
try to see each other at where they're at, right? And so like it just felt like, and I almost said the writers, and I'm like Brennan.
it's just Brennan,
It just felt like Brennan didn't know what to do with Tracker anymore. So Brennan's just like, we'll break them up so Tracker's not around.
right? Otherwise, it's a finale that I really like. There's really a finale that kind of swings through the fences, and it's kind of remarkable that it works.
It it's amazing that the roles worked out the way they were supposed to,
Yeah,
because you could just tell like when some of those really important roles happened, you were just could tell that Brennan was very excited because yes, this is going exactly as I planned.
totally. Let's move on to our next show, which is Ghost, which is back for its fifth season. So how are we feeling?
I thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
Yes.
It had so many twists and turns in it that I was like, this is fun. This is exciting. Also, I want to give kudos to the writers for keeping up the Sonic references because as someone who grew up in a town that Sonic was one of the three fast food restaurant options, and I actually worked for Sonic in college, like I get the obsession with Sonic, okay? Their food is bad for you, but man, it tastes so good when you eat it.
Their burgers are good. The burgers and milkshakes are good.
Hmm. And also their soda just tastes crisper, and I know it's because they're technically a drink stop, so they make sure their machines are very very clean. Um but yeah, like I loved he was like they were like, "What food do you want? Could I get a double a double Sonic Smasher?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I love this for you, Jay." Because I agree that is a delicious sandwich. You should ask for that.
It's really good. No, there's a Sonic by my mom's house that I always go to in town. Um,
Their cherry limeades are bar none. So good.
that's really good.
But anyways, no, it's a very fun episode. I watched it yesterday actually. But I knew it was going to be good just based on Alicia's commentary about it.
Right.
Because we're both editors, and so like in the editors chat, she's just like going off about ghosts, and so I was just like, oh, good, it's a good episode. I'm so glad. Like,
Yeah, I saw some people saying it's one of the series' best, and I would push back on that a little bit. I think it's a
mhm.
good episode, but it's
It's definitely in the tops.
yeah,
Like,
it's a fun watch, but
I don't know if it would be the best of the whole series, but
yeah.
yeah, it's definitely one of the top ones. I also really enjoyed the argument between Carol and Pete about donuts versus donut holes. Where she's like, they're not, he's like, they're both made from donut. I don't think so. Yes, they are.
They are technically different. Dude, I do think I have to
But
beat Team Carol
yeah.
in this one regard. I do think I have to beat Team Carol.
They're made from the same stuff. It's the same
uh,
dough.
sort of,
It is. It's the same dough. It's the same dough.
sort of.
They just feel different because donut holes cook faster, and so they have a different consistency when they're done cooking.
Eh.
I'm listen. I'm Team Pete. I will stand with Team Pete forever on this one, especially.
Listen. This isn't the hill I'm prepared to die on, but
Also, I did not have it in my cards that Sass would be the one to talk Patience off a ledge. Like, Sass, like doing anything kind towards Patience, I was not expecting. So that was nice. It was a nice little moment there, too.
yeah. But I did appreciate this episode as them going. We gotta get rid of one of these ghosts. One of these ghosts have got to.
We've got too many of them, yeah.
So I think them getting rid of Carol is the right decision because they can't keep riding around. Well, Carol was over here all this time.
And Pete and Alberta.
Yep.
How we feeling about it?
I mean, I don't hate it.
I don't either.
I there's not enough there for me, but I'm withholding judgment.
I I'm with you. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm I'm like, okay, whatever. You do you.
Yeah, I think it works well enough for right now. I'll see how I feel about that later on. But
Listen, I'm just waiting for Trevor
Trevor and Hetty.
Trevor and Hetty to get back together. I blanked for a second on what her name was. I was like, what the frick is her name? I was like, I know it. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. Hetty. Yeah, I'm just waiting for Trevor and Hetty to just make a comeback. Because we know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because the actors love it just as much as we do. So
Yeah, yeah. I did enjoy Trevor in this episode, kind of being the reasonable one
yeah.
of kind of backing up the most sensible plans, which is not his vibe.
No, that is not typically what Trevor does.
So
I also very much enjoyed the moment where Pete made the reference to The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and then the four ghosts just start to sing the song and dance around to it. And Jay has no idea what's going on because he can't see the ghosts, and she's tapping her foot, and she's like, "Oh no, yeah, they're feeling really bad about your situation." But the fact that I was like, I can still sing every word to this song, and I haven't heard it in like 10 years.
I enjoyed the subversion of patience from someone who I guess kind of just believed she could smite.
Just by saying smite.
Yeah, yeah, just smite. It's a shame, given who Patience is, because she would enjoy playing a paladin so much. But yeah, really, really good premiere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next show, Matlock, which is back for its second season, premiering 2 episodes in the same week for unearthly reasons.
For whatever reason CBS has.
Not even on the same night. What are you doing,
Nope.
CBS?
Like they did this last season too. They started the season on a Sunday, and but at least last season it was like 2 weeks, and then we got the new episode on the right night, on the correct night, the Thursday night. And I was like, I don't understand what we're doing. Sunday is a terrible time to try and get people to start watching your show.
Just
I
baffling decisions.
what?
I enjoy the dynamic that we're starting off with, the push and pull between Olympia and Maddie. Like, there's enough like wins on both sides currently. I think my main point of contention is I don't buy Maddie's reaction in the second episode to Olympia when she's caught on tape.
Mm.
Like, I just don't buy. I buy a heightened reaction. I don't buy that reaction. You know what I mean? Like, I don't buy it not occurring to her that she might be
Recorded.
You know?
Yeah, because here's the thing, like, and I said this in my reviews for Telltale, that I really am impressed that the show was able to say, well, see, we didn't fully end the Wellbrexa in season 1, and we're gonna drag it out in season 2, but we're gonna make it more fun by having Olympia and Maddie be at odds with each other, and sometimes on the same page as each other, but you never know when either is happening because they're playing each other. And so like that made sense. So like the first episode I was like, I really like this. That's really good. That makes sense. And like it was cool to see at the end that Olympia actually had an an alternative thing going on. And then, in the second episode, that push and pull, that cat and mouse continues. And it's like, Maddie, you did all these things that Olympia is now doing to you, to Olympia and the rest of your team all through season 1, and you're telling me you don't think she would think to record you?
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's bananas, girl.
I don't believe that for a second. I also don't quite know what Olympia is going for. It seems to me, there's no way of taking down Senior without also taking down her husband, or taking
Right.
down herself in the process.
Yeah,
It
I
it feels like all
I
that's
think
happened
that's
is
what
you've implicated yourself in this as well. You know?
I think the point of it is that we're not supposed to really know what her final plan is, obviously, because like they need to make this drag a little further. But if they try to make Wellbrexa last the entire season, I'm gonna scream, because it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to last much longer than a few more episodes at most. You know what I mean? Because like
No.
one of them has to outsmart the other at some point. There has to be a clear winner at some point. And Olympia's end goal might just be to continue burying the situation. Because if she brings it to light, yeah, it implicates her, it implicates Julian, and it implicates Senior, which will then cause a problem with her kids, which she's trying to avoid. So to me, it feels like she's really just trying to bury it again, hoping that Maddie will just give up. And it's just like, girl, do you not know Maddie? Because Maddie's not giving up. Like, also, this whole Joey stuff with Maddie and Edwin and Alfie, I'm just like, is there something significant that's going to happen with this, or is this just filling airtime? Like,
It feels like it's trying to like it's trying to justify the grandson's existence,
yeah.
or give him something else to do besides just being a weird, precocious child.
Yeah. Like, he's like finally acting like a normal child and being like, I hate you and I don't want to talk to you. And Maddie's just like thrown off by this. And I'm like, do you not remember what teenage children are like? Like preteens and teens are like? Because he's acting like a normal kid for once.
That all isn't really working for me.
And again, I feel like they're trying to find something for Edwin to do. And so they pull him into the Olympia Maddie stuff. And it's just like, he's not significant enough.
No, it feels awkward.
And obviously, we know that Maddie's not going to leave Jacobson more because otherwise there wouldn't be a show. So, like, this whole like moment of her like having the set to time of your life, like her having this like reflective, well, these are my last days with these people, and it's just like, girl, please.
What a wild needle drop, by the way.
Yeah.
Like a needle drop that's a good 15 years past its prime.
I was just like, it started playing. I was like, what are we, 2005?
There's no way this
like,
is what we're doing right now.
Is this a graduation? Like, I do want to comment that the one good Sarah thing we got from these two episodes was what's her face tried to blackmail her. Right. And she literally, after antagonizing about it the whole episode, she finally just goes to Olympia, and Olympia literally has the girl transferred to one of their more remote Jacobson Moore like locations or whatever.
Right, has her banished to like Idaho.
Yeah. And I just love the look on Sarah's face when she hears in the conversation like where this girl has to go, and she's just like, "Oh, that sucks."
So bad for you. Simone fucked around a little too close to the sun, and
that's her name, Simone. Yeah. I didn't like her, so I didn't care to remember her name. Yeah, you played with the wrong person, Simone. Like,
yeah,
you would have probably had a stronger case if Julian was still as high up as he used to be in the company. And now he's just a low man on the totem pole. Him being antagonized by Billy the entire second episode was kind of hysterical. Just because we got a beautiful hissy fit from Jason Ritter, because it was just so well done. It was just him finally blowing up and exploding over Billy's inane questions about parenting and housing and all these different stupid things. And he just like finally loses his shit, and he's just like, it's been a long time coming because dude has been under a lot of stress.
Totally, yeah.
But Jason Ritter just nails the whole scene, and I really, really enjoyed it. And then he goes and sits on the steps, and Olympia's like, "You good? Because you only get one of those, and you just used yours." Like,
yeah, it's really good. Let's move on to our next show, Abbott Elementary, which is back for its fifth season. So I only had time to watch the premiere. Watched a little bit of the second episode, and so I'm having a problem, which is not a problem of the show. I think like the shine has diminished for me with the show, you know, and that's not a fault of Abbott Elementary. I'm just not into the show, I think, the way I used to be.
Yeah.
So I feel a lot more like laissez-faire about it.
I could totally get that.
And I don't really have like a justification for it, because I like
no, but we have these shows that like we start off really liking, and then we start to lose steam because they just keep going. And it's not necessarily that they've gotten worse or anything. It's just that we're just like, I'm not passionate about this show. So the fact that it's still going, I'm just kind of like, okay. I'll watch it, I guess. I've been there with some other shows. I don't know if I'm there with Abbott or if I'm just in a weird headspace right now with all that's going on in my personal life, where I just felt like a chore to watch 3 episodes because I watched episodes 1, 2, and 3
Mhm.
all in one sitting, and it just felt like a chore. But I don't know if that's just because I'm just overly exhausted right now in my personal life.
No, that is how I felt as well. Like it felt. I think calling it a chore is a good way to put it. Because
Yeah.
it feels like an obligation in ways that other shows currently don't.
And I'm gonna be dead honest, the 3rd episode is centered on them going to a Philadelphia Phillies game. And I know nothing about baseball, so that episode bored me to tears because I just don't care about baseball. Point blank, I just don't care about baseball.
Right.
But the whole joke behind it was that the whole time Ava's boyfriend, the tech guy, he thinks that the janitor is the fanatic because he doesn't see the fanatic or the janitor in the same space at the same time throughout the whole game. And but then the fanatic like shows up and does like a little meet and greet at the end, and he's like, I know it's him, I know it's him. But then we pan over to the stands, and he's like, no, I'm right here. Like, and he explains his absences with, well, I'm old, I gotta pee a lot, or I had to go get a snack, like all these different things.
Mhm.
But generally, yeah, like I'm just, I don't know if it's like you, I'm getting just tired of the show, or if it's that I'm just generally in general tired.
Yeah, because I know I haven't like loved the past couple seasons, but I don't know. I'll might have
I
to.
also wonder if it's a situation of it doesn't have a clear, like, there's a goal in mind for things. It just feels like we're just going through daily diaries. And so, like, in the past, it's felt like, okay, will they, won't they with Janine and Gregory?
Mhm.
Or will they, won't they in terms of funding from the school board? And this season, like these 3 episodes, it just felt like we were getting a little bit of a diary, so to speak, of different things happening. Like it didn't feel like there was any major overarching thing that they have to worry about. And maybe that's just me. It's still enjoyable. I just don't make me make it my top priority.
Let's move on to Brilliant Minds, which we have a couple episodes to catch up on here. I still think that the flash forwards are not working.
Yeah, I'm still very
However,
confused by them.
I have a caveat. If we're having the flash forwards and Wolf at the facility, so that we can later get Josh Whitehorsing to come rescue Wolf from the facility, 100% in. Okay, I want to be so
Absolutely.
clear about that. If that's what if that's what we're leading up to, 100%.
100%.
Um,
Absolutely.
Otherwise, no, because like that last scene of Wolf calling Josh. If that's what we're doing,
Absolutely. Like I was watching the most recent episode with my mom, and she doesn't hasn't really watched this show before, so like she didn't fully understand my reactions entirely. So like anytime Dr. Wolf and Josh were talking to each other, I was just like, "Oh my god, I just love their dynamic even when they're fucking angry at each other for whatever reason, or they have a weird dynamic now because Josh is now in charge, blah blah whatever." And it's like, and she's like, why are you excited? She's like, it doesn't sound like they're happy with each other. I go, oh no 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 no, there's the sexual tension going on underneath that. There's all that sexual tension. That's why I'm enjoying this.
which like that part of it is very very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still don't like this new doctor. I don't like him at all.
Yeah, he's such a dick.
I just hate him.
He also just like he makes me think of a snake.
Right.
Like you can't trust him at all because like he's very critical of, are they still interns? Is that what they are?
I
Like
think
I
they're still
forget what their designation is.
yeah.
But like he's very critical with them, but then he turns around and is like, when she confesses to him that she's the one, when Dana confesses to him that she's the one that turned in Dr. Pierce for taking on a case that she shouldn't have. He's like, well, I would have done that too. Like, he's trying to be like all buddy buddy with her. And it's like, for what reason, sir?
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to get out of this? Because I don't trust that you're actually just trying to be a good mentor. You're alienating them from Wolf in some way, because he literally says to them, you don't go to Dr. Wolf, you go to me first. And it's like, excuse me?
But I really enjoyed the episode with Dana and her girlfriend Katie, the very headstrong paramedic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a good episode of like one of those cases of like the thing that attracts you to that person is also probably the thing that will make your relationship not work, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting that Katie is like this very courageous paramedic who like just kind of does stuff. And that's also the scariest thing in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I love Katie.
Yeah.
She's such a good character, but that girl's gonna get herself killed.
Oh yeah. Like, I really like the dynamic with her and Dana. And I think it helps Dana be a better physician. Because she, A, just is already a compassionate person, but B, she like sees what Katie does and she's just like, I'm gonna take that back a notch because I'm not gonna be that extreme.
Right.
I really liked the third episode, which dealt with the young man that is accused of pushing his caseworker, social worker, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
onto the train tracks. Because A, I appreciate that they hired someone with autism spectrum disorder to play someone who knew this young man, who was also, they actually hired actors with that disorder. Like, they didn't have people pretending to be autistic. But also, the episode had, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the actress's name, but she played Ellie Nash on Degrassi, and I love her. She's such a good actress, and it was fun to see her pop up and just be like there for a few seconds,
Right.
throughout the episode. So I really like that episode. I really like the story too, of you think someone's a villain, but they're really not. They were trying to help, and it was just based on society's perceptions of people. And so it really like ties into how Dr. Wolf perceives people differently. And so it just, I don't know, it just felt like a well-rounded episode to me.
Right. I do have to say I felt especially called out during that episode because there's a scene where that patient is solving a jigsaw puzzle upside down,
Yeah.
which is a thing that I did as a kid a lot, very successfully.
Is it an autistic thing to love puzzles? Because I was obsessed with puzzles when I was a kid too.
Right. It's especially the upside down part that made me feel
Yeah, no, I get you. But
the
yeah.
call is coming from inside the house. I was like, you know what? That's rude. You're probably right,
Yeah.
but that's still rude. Also, I love the the uh, that doctor and his ex wife like really effectively having that one the roommate's number immediately is like this guy like a
Yes.
mystery. You're like,
Yep.
you know what? Also rude, but right. You know what? 2 for 2. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what? That's autistic representation that's almost reductive, but very accurate. You know what?
Very accurate. Absolutely.
I do have like a small quibble to make with Van because they keep treating his condition like it is a superpower, and that's just
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that particular uh, disorder, but I don't like it's not an infallible. You can't just point him at someone and he can tell you exactly what's going on. Like,
Right.
I don't think that's how that works.
He did pretty good this in that episode, but yeah, like it's like every time they have a quirky situation, they're like, "Oh, Go get
Go get
Van.
Van. See how he's feeling. And it's like, that's not the way that works at all.
That is not how that works.
And I really enjoyed this week's episode with Jake
Jake
Rogowski.
Rakowski.
Yes.
Yes.
Where initially I was like, she seems like Jake Rogowski seems like she's too young to be playing this role. And then spent the rest of the episode being peak Jake Rogowski.
Yeah.
And I was like, no,
Yeah.
no, no, it's great casting.
Yeah. And I appreciate that this also kind of starts to sort of piece together, okay, how did Wolf somehow end up at this location that they keep flashing forward to? And you can kind of see the setup starting to happen. Like, he pissed off this major donor with this whole case, and then she further pissed people off by, going to the public and speaking out against her conservatorship and all that stuff. Like, you see those wheels turning. It's kind of like in that second episode when they had that woman think she was constantly on a game show,
Mm-hmm.
and then they end up this doctor just showed up. That doctor just showed up, and she's like, "Well, there's this psych ward you could take her to, this psych hospital," and it's just like, "Oh, well, we know where that comes into play later on." So it just feels like there's someone in the hospital pushing to get Wolf out in some way. And I haven't quite figured out who exactly it is. But it's clearly a inside job sort of thing. Like, you can tell he's being kept in this hospital against his will by somebody that he trusted.
Right.
And I don't want it to be Josh. I don't want it to be Josh unless Josh is the one saving him. But
well, let's move on to our next show. Doc. I think we can breeze past this pretty fast. There's something now about Felicity Huffman where I go, instantly don't trust you. Which is probably aided by real life events. But boy, I don't trust that character.
Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, I didn't trust her the minute she showed up, and then Amy's starting to have memory flashbacks, and you see this memory of this doctor convincing her to leave her husband, and it's like, I'm sorry, what? And then you find out she's hiding a whole condition from her colleagues that could be dangerous for her to be operating with, and it's like, girl, what are you doing? What is your goal here?
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't like that they continue to not know what to do with Sonia's character, other than her being in direct opposition of Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got a whole character there. Like, do something else with her without like having to be Amy's antagonist. Because after everything, that feels weird. Like, that feels really disjointed.
I'm honestly just feeling kind of meh about this season.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything yet that gets me as excited as I was last season. Bring Scott Wolf back. Maybe that's what I need.
Scott Wolf had a lot of like really necessary energy that I don't think Felicity Huffman has.
Right, exactly. Like, he just had that driven aspect that is necessary for the type of quote unquote antagonist character we're looking for in his character and Felicity Huffman's.
Right.
That yeah. As much as I love Felicity Huffman and I've seen her in many a thing over the years, I just not feeling this character. I'm just not interested.
No. And like, on another note, like, it's so utterly predictable that the new intern that they have to hire is the pretty white blonde girl out of the selection pool. And it's like, well, of course you did. Like, of course.
And also, she just happens to have a connection to Amy's past. Like, of course she does.
I'm sure she's a perfectly fine actress, but it's just the most boring choice.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like, she's supposed to be like set up in some way to be Jake's new love interest or whatever. And it's like, okay, this is all very pat. This is all very deeply, deeply underwhelming. Let's move on to our next show, Slow Horses, which again we have a couple episodes to check in with here. I think it was episode 3 is the one that really hangs in my mind of Gary Oldman almost out of nowhere, and that's not to say that he hasn't been doing really great work otherwise on the show. Delivers an
Mm-hmm.
all-time best with this monologue of a Cold War era spy who gets tortured.
Yeah.
But God, it's some of Gary Oldman's best work on the show, and maybe some of his best work
Mm-hmm.
in the last few years. Just a really like captivating and enrapturing monologue that really greatly like sets off an action set piece in the office. And it's just great.
Yep.
Like, and if for nothing else, like that makes the entire season for me. Even if I think like this season is proving to be kind of lesser. Like I think a lot of their other seasons have just been more interesting.
More
Yeah, more
engaging.
engaging, more interesting, more stuff going on that better utilizes the characters. I think a bad Slow Horses season is still fairly good though, so I can't complain too much. I think this week's episode is fine. It's perfectly serviceable as like stuff starts to pop off and there's more of like the political intrigue of it all with the marriage race happening.
Yeah.
But again, it's fine. I'll be interested to
I
see how
giggled
they.
a little bit. I forget what episode it was in, but I giggled a little bit at they're confined to their meeting house location, basically, whatever. And at one point they're like keeping an eye on him, and he's like, "Well, I need to use the restroom." It's just like I'm just giggling because she thinks that he literally left because he was taking so long, and he's just like, "No." And then she smells it, and she's just like, "Oh God!" And it's just like these people don't understand how disgusting and gross he is.
No, that episode's great. I love that the set piece of like you could see things like starting to get ticked off, taking the cigarettes away from him and like the lighter and
Mm-hmm.
different objects and being passed around the room, where you can see where it's gonna pop off, and then when it does, it's a really great illustration of like, yeah, these people are losers and not great agents, but they're still agents. Like they're still very deadly. Just because they were kind of cast aside does not mean that they are not effective in some way. There's a great line from Gary Oldman in this week's episode of "You all need a better class of fuck up. When my people fuck up, we do it on a epic scale. You're just regular ones,"
Mm-hmm.
which is such a perfect encapsulation of the show.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Lowdown. I've watched a little bit more of the show. I don't think as much as you have. I believe I'm on episode 4 with 5 out right now.
The fact that this show stars Ethan Hawke and Kyle MacLachlan, like it's like got two big names already there, and then they just unexpectedly throw Peter Dinklage into the mix. I'm I'm aghast at how I didn't see this coming, but also like this is perfect. Because he can play the right level of scummy for a show like this.
Right, totally.
I do feel like this show kind of drags things out a bit too much, in my opinion. It does move a little too slow for me at times, but overall, I generally like it enough that I keep watching.
Yeah, I think the like transition from Reservation Dogs, which was a half hour for the most part comedy,
Mm-hmm.
to this an hour long drama, mystery but drama. It's maybe not as seamless as would be preferred, even though I think it's still quite enjoyable. I don't know that the Lowdown has like the depth that Reservation Dogs had, though. I don't feel like you can have like I don't feel like the Lowdown has the equivalent of like what Reservation Dogs was able to do, where it could just go off on a weird tangent on an episode. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has like a deer lady in it, which I think is a problem for the show. Otherwise, so fairly enjoyable. That's it for this week. Next week, Fiona and Cake will be back, so we'll be back on our Adventure Time bullshit. So check back in for
Yay.
that.
Yeah. Really excited to get back into Adventure Time land.
Indeed. Until then, Mads, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, um, Blue Sky at Dorothy NYC89, and on Tumblr at MadsWorld15.
And you can find me pretty much everywhere at Draconig. And you can find the podcast at Now Another TV Podcasts on pretty much all your social platforms, along with our link tree at linktree.com/Now Another TV Podcast. And I'll have all our social media handles plus our Discord. Be sure to email us at notanothertvpodcast@gmail.com with any thoughts, comments, questions you may have about the show. You can find previous episodes of the podcast on Apple and Spotify, along with whatever other podcatching device you use. And find our full directory at libsyn.com/notanotherTV podcasts. Be sure to leave a review and subscribe on whatever you're using. Every little bit helps. Until next week, please remember, don't drown the oceans, know your business. Goodbye.